Joining me now from Pittsburgh, member of the Pennsylvania Air National Guard and congressional candidate for Pennsylvania's District 18, Luke Negron. Luke, your governor is saying a lot, sounding a lot like these other blue state governors, where protest is fine, bring on the protest, but there are a few bad apples. Nonsense. They're all using the protest as cover. And if you're marching in the street, you are breaking the law, and you ought to face the consequences. This entire uprising needs to be put down. Instead, you get platitudes from your governor. How bad is it in Pittsburgh right now, the day after?
Yeah, Graham, it's great to see you again. And you know what? I was actually just downtown with a team and some volunteers doing a cleanup effort for the city of Pittsburgh. And, you know, it is, as I heard in the report as I was coming onto the show, it's true. There's plywood everywhere, broken glass, shattered windows. And I spoke with small business owners who said, you know, in a very emotional time, they were hit by COVID, they were hit by the economic shutdown, and now they're hit by these riots. Look, we can simultaneously disown corruption in the police force and disown this violence and rioting that's happening in the streets many times by out-of-state individuals. There's evidence, mounting evidence, that they are paid and that they are parts of really antagonistic, nefarious forces who are set out, who don't care about these communities, who don't care about justice. We need strong leadership who's shutting them down yesterday. These violent riots need to be stopped.
And what about these mobs of people? Here you have your governor talking about, you know, maintaining 6 feet and wearing a mask and contact tracing. I'm just wondering if Governor Wolf is going to have all those people marching in the streets of Philadelphia, hundreds, if not thousands of people. I wonder if he's going to go after them like he's gone after the business owners in the Keystone State. I wonder if it's going to be equal protection on the law, but I don't believe so. Instead, we have part two of his response to the rioting, and that is, oh, we're going to extend voting. We're going to extend voting another few days so the criminals who are robbing the jewelry stores can have time to get their ballots in. All this is going to do is bring into question, in my opinion, I want to hear yours, Luke, but all this is going to do is bring into question the validity of the results.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Graham. And I've got to tell you, so some of the voting that we've seen happening today, I have been getting calls constantly, my team and I, about corruption and inefficient oversight at polling locations.
Lovely.
There are people not giving out Republican and Democratic ballots evenly. There's not equal representation at the voting booths. It's a big problem. And then, yeah, one of the comparisons I saw that's really terrible is simply that if you were to open your small business last week, you could be taken to jail. If you were to burn someone else's small business this week, you'd get a free pass. That's terrible.
It's an unfortunate commentary of life in a blue state, such as Pennsylvania right now. It's an unfortunate commentary of certain sectors of life in America. But you're running in a heavy Democrat district, and that's not too surprising in Pittsburgh. This is a Democrat plus 13 median income, pretty average, right? About $52,000 a year. You're running against a complete and total Marxist socialist in this Mike Doyle with a Liberty score of F, 12%. That's below Nancy Pelosi, I believe. Last I checked Nancy Pelosi's numbers. Are you telling your potential constituents, your friends and your neighbors, are you trying to get their vote? Are you explaining to them and you're trying to connect the dots between the government response to COVID-19, this rioting, and the loss of liberty, and how, as a representative, you will try and restore this liberty?
Yeah, that's exactly right, of course. And, you know, my likely opponent, Mike Doyle, is absolutely a Nancy Pelosi lapdog, as he has been for several decades. And the overreach that we've seen by elected officials and the silence that we've seen by other elected officials is unacceptable. First, in the case of these lock-ins, shutting down small businesses, punishing people for exercising their freedoms, closing down the opportunities that we have as free Americans, and now endorsing these riots in the streets, being silent against the violence that we see happening. It's really terrible for our communities. What we seek here is unity, and that's something that elitist career politicians aren't plugged into because they live in a separate bubble. They live separate from the working class, from what we go through here today. That's something that the people of Pittsburgh know, by and large, in a bipartisan manner.
Words of wisdom. Negron 2020, that's Negron 2020.com. That is the website if you'd like to help Luke carry his district and help the President of the United States carry the great state of Pennsylvania. Luke, thank you and good luck.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.